It's not every day that a public figure steps into a situation that feels more like a scene from a movie than real life. But on that fateful day, when Melania Trump, former First Lady of the United States, stepped into a hospital room in New York City, she was about to do something that would captivate the hearts of millions. What she didn't know was that her visit would not just be a moment of compassion, but a turning point in the life of a young girl, one whose struggle had been largely hidden from the world. Her name was Ella, an 8-year-old burn victim whose face and hands were scarred by an accident that nearly took her life. When Melania entered Ella's room, her heart went out to the young girl, who had faced so much pain and loss, yet still carried a spark of hope in her eyes. Ella had never met a First Lady before. In fact, she never thought she'd meet anyone famous at all. But on this day, Melania Trump wasn't just any figure in the crowd. She was a woman with a mission, one that would surprise Ella, her family, and even herself. What Melania did next? It would change everything for the young burn victim, and the ripple effects would be felt far beyond the walls of that hospital room. Was it the kind of kindness that could heal more than just physical wounds? Or was it a quiet reminder that, sometimes, the most unexpected moments in life can carry the greatest gifts? As Melania walked through those hospital doors, no one could have predicted the incredible journey that would unfold. The very story of Ella's tragic accident, her relentless recovery, and this moment of surprise from Melania Trump would soon be shared around the world. But what made this story even more captivating was how, in just a few moments, the roles of hero and victim were blurred in the most heartwarming way possible. In a world filled with division, could this unexpected meeting between two very different women, a former First Lady and a little girl, remind us all of the healing power of empathy? Or would this encounter take a turn no one saw coming? Ella had been through more in her 8 short years than many people could fathom. A fire had broken out in her family's apartment when she was just 6, leaving her with severe burns that would scar her face, hands, and arms for life. The doctors had told her parents she might not make it through the night, but Ella had proven them wrong. She fought with every ounce of her strength, and though she would never be the same physically, her spirit remained unbroken. Even with the scars that covered much of her skin, Ella never lost the glimmer of light in her eyes, and her laughter still filled every room she walked into. But there were days, quiet moments in the corners of her hospital room, when the weight of her transformation, of the world looking at her differently, felt unbearable. She knew she was different now. In school, other children sometimes stared, sometimes whispered, but the hardest part of all was the loneliness that settled in when she realized that even her family, though supportive, couldn't fully understand the magnitude of what she was going through. Then, one fateful day, a phone call came in that changed everything. The hospital had just been informed that Melania Trump was coming to visit. Ella's mother had heard the name before, of course. She knew about the former First Lady, who had always been known for her work with children and causes that helped those in need. But this was something entirely different. This was an opportunity for her daughter to meet someone who understood what it meant to face adversity and to overcome it. She knew that Melania's visit would be something special, but she had no idea how much it would affect Ella, or how it would transform their whole family. On the day of the visit, the hospital room felt charged with anticipation. Nurses, doctors, and hospital staff were all standing by, prepared for the momentous occasion. Even Ella's parents couldn't quite contain their excitement. But Ella was a little nervous. She didn't know what to expect. She hadn't seen many public figures before, let alone someone who had been part of the White House. Was she going to be treated differently? Was Melania going to be cold, distant, like many famous people? Would she see Ella for the young girl she truly was, or just as another cause to check off the list? The door opened, and in walked Melania Trump. She was graceful, her presence immediately filling the room. But what made this moment so extraordinary was how she walked straight to Ella, with no hesitation or fanfare. No entourage, no cameras at first. It was just Melania, and a little girl who had been waiting her whole life for someone to see her, not her burns, but her. "Hi, Ella," Melania said softly, her voice calm but with a warmth that seemed to draw the entire room in. "I've heard so much about you." Ella, shy and unsure at first, barely looked up from her blanket. She wasn't used to having someone talk to her in such a tender way. Melania, sensing the hesitation, knelt down beside the bed so that their faces were level. She didn't push. She just waited. "I know it's hard," Melania said, almost in a whisper. "But you are so brave. You're stronger than most people I know." Ella finally lifted her gaze, meeting Melania's eyes. There was a softness there, an understanding that made Ella feel like she had found an ally. It was as though, in that moment, all the fears about being different, about being judged for her appearance, melted away. The former First Lady didn't see her scars, she saw her strength. The conversation flowed naturally from there. Melania didn't ask Ella about her accident or her scars. Instead, she talked about things Ella loved, her favorite books, her love for animals, her dreams of becoming a scientist one day. Melania shared how she had faced challenges of her own and how important it was to hold on to hope, no matter what. "You know, Ella," Melania said with a smile, "I've learned that sometimes, it's the tough moments in life that teach us the most about who we are. They show us how strong we really are, even when we feel like we can't go on." For a few moments, it was just two women, one young, one older, connecting on a human level. It wasn't about Melania's celebrity or her former position as First Lady. It wasn't about Ella's burn injuries or the stares she often got from others. It was about something deeper. It was about empathy, understanding, and finding common ground in shared experiences of hardship. And it was clear to everyone in the room that Melania wasn't just there to make an appearance. She was there to listen, to connect, and to offer something far more valuable than just a visit. She was offering hope. As the visit continued, Ella began to open up more. She talked about her dreams and how she sometimes felt scared to show her face to the world. Melania listened intently, giving her the space to speak freely. It was then that Melania made a promise. "Ella, I believe in you. And I want to help you on your journey to healing, to finding confidence, and to showing the world just how strong and beautiful you truly are." That promise wasn't just words. It was the start of a beautiful bond, a bond that would help Ella rebuild her confidence, piece by piece, as she started her journey to recovery. But no one could have predicted what would come next. As the visit came to a close, Melania stood up, turned to leave, and then paused. She looked back at Ella, her eyes warm. "I think you should know something, Ella," Melania said, with a twinkle in her eye. "You're not alone in this. And I'm going to make sure you never feel like you are." The promise Melania had made to Ella that day was more than just comforting words. It was a lifeline. But as days passed and Ella slowly recovered, she found herself wondering what it truly meant for someone like Melania to offer such a promise. Was it just a gesture, or would it become a tangible part of her healing journey? Would she be able to find the confidence to live her life freely, without fear of being judged or pitted? Melania had promised that she wouldn't let Ella feel alone, but would her actions match the weight of those words? 2 weeks later, Ella was back at the hospital for a routine checkup, when a nurse handed her a letter. The envelope was elegant, the handwriting unmistakable. Ella's heart skipped a beat as she tore it open. Inside, there was a letter from Melania Trump herself. "Dear Ella," it began. "I've been thinking about you, and I want you to know that I see your strength, your courage, and your beautiful heart. I know recovery isn't easy, but you're not walking this path alone. I'm with you every step of the way. If you ever need anything, or if there's ever a way I can support you further, don't hesitate to reach out. With all my love, Melania Trump." That was the first part of the letter. The second part, what came next, was a surprise that left Ella speechless. Melania had organized for Ella to receive a special scholarship to attend a renowned summer camp for children who had experienced traumatic events. The camp was known for helping children with similar struggles as Ella, offering not only physical healing but also emotional support, confidence building, and most importantly, the chance to just be a kid again. There were tears in Ella's eyes as she read the letter over and over. This was more than just an act of kindness, it was a catalyst for her recovery. Melania's gesture gave her something to look forward to, a way to reclaim her life from the shadow of her past. It was as if the weight she had carried for so long was slowly lifting. But the true test of Melania's impact would come months later when Ella found herself at the summer camp, surrounded by other children who understood her struggles in ways that no one else could. The first few days were tough. Ella wasn't used to being around so many other children who had also faced trauma. She felt vulnerable, as though everyone could see the scars on her skin, the pain in her eyes. But something incredible began to happen as the camp progressed. Ella found herself surrounded by others who had similar experiences. They didn't look at her as different. They saw her for who she truly was, a brave, resilient young girl, just like them. There, she learned that the road to recovery wasn't just about healing the body, it was about healing the soul, too. And at every step of the way, Melania's words echoed in her mind, "You're not alone." As the days went by, Ella's confidence grew. She was no longer the shy, self-conscious girl who once hid from the world. She was standing tall, smiling, laughing, and connecting with the other campers. And while her scars remained, they no longer defined her. It was during the final campfire session that the most unexpected moment happened. As the camp counselors spoke about the transformative power of empathy, of kindness, and of supporting one another, the camp director stepped forward with a surprise announcement. "We have a special guest here today," the director said, a knowing smile on their face. "Someone who has been following all of your journeys and is incredibly proud of the progress you've made." Just as the words left the director's mouth, Melania Trump herself walked into the campfire circle. The campers gasped in surprise, but the look on Melania's face said it all. She wasn't there for a photo op or to be in the spotlight. She was there to see the children she had supported, the ones who had come so far on their journeys of healing. Melania's eyes immediately landed on Ella. She smiled warmly and walked toward her. "Ella," she said, kneeling down to meet her eye level. "I am so proud of you. I see how strong you've become, and I want you to know that your courage has inspired so many others." The moment Melania embraced Ella, the world seemed to pause. It wasn't just a hug between a famous figure and a child. It was the culmination of everything Melania had promised: the hope, the support, the unwavering belief in Ella's strength. It was the moment that sealed the bond between them and gave Ella the courage to face her future with an open heart. As the campfire flickered and the stars shone above them, Melania's voice rang out, filled with emotion. "Ella, remember this, your story is far from over. The best parts are yet to come." Those words, along with Melania's unwavering support, became the foundation for Ella's new beginning. She knew her scars would always be there, but they no longer defined her. What defined her was her strength, her resilience, and the love that surrounded her. With Melania's unexpected visit and lasting influence, Ella's journey of healing had taken on a new light, a light that would carry her forward into a future filled with promise and hope. As the days passed since that unforgettable moment at the campfire, the impact of Melania Trump's gesture continued to ripple through Ella's life. But it wasn't just Ella who was changed. Melania's kindness and support had sparked something in everyone around her: fellow campers, staff, and even the families who had witnessed the transformation from afar. It was a powerful reminder that the true measure of success is not found in accolades or recognition, but in the difference we make in the lives of others. When Melania made the decision to walk into that hospital room, to sit beside a young girl who had faced unimaginable challenges, she wasn't just offering sympathy. She was offering something far more valuable: belief. She believed in Ella's strength, in her potential to heal, and in the beauty that could still be found in her heart. That belief, in turn, gave Ella the courage to believe in herself. But the lesson didn't end there. It wasn't just about the promise Melania made to stay by Ella's side. It was about how that promise awakened something deeper in Ella, a desire to help others, to be the beacon of hope that Melania had been for her. As Ella's confidence grew, she began to reach out to other children in the camp who were still struggling. She shared her story, her struggles, and her triumphs. She became a source of inspiration for others who had felt lost in their own pain. She understood now that healing wasn't just about overcoming obstacles in one's own life, but about lifting others up along the way. Ella's transformation was a testament to the power of empathy, kindness, and human connection. And Melania, by showing up in that hospital room, had set a ripple of change into motion that no one could have predicted. For Melania, the visit to the hospital was not a one-off. She kept in touch with Ella, offering words of encouragement, and helping her access resources that would continue to empower her growth. But it wasn't the material gifts or the promises of support that left the deepest mark. It was the simple, profound act of showing up. The visit showed Ella that no matter where life had taken her, she was never alone. And in that realization, Ella found the strength to become her own hero. This story, though centered on Ella's remarkable recovery, was a reminder to us all that no act of kindness is ever too small. That sometimes, the simplest gesture, a hug, a listening ear, or a promise of support, can be the spark that ignites a fire of hope in someone's life. Melania's story with Ella teaches us that healing comes in many forms. Sometimes, it's through the people who show up in our lives when we least expect it, offering nothing more than their time, their kindness, and their belief in us. As we go through life, we all encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable. But if there's one thing Ella's journey teaches us, it's that we have the power to choose how we respond. We can choose to give up, to let our pain define us, or we can choose to rise above it, to reach out and offer hope to others in the process. Ella chose to rise. And through Melania's guidance, she learned that she wasn't defined by her scars or her past, but by the light she carried within her, the light that had always been there, waiting for the right moment to shine. The final lesson of this story is simple: never underestimate the impact of your actions. You may never know how much a small act of kindness can change someone's life, but it's in those quiet moments that the world begins to heal. So, as you walk through your day, remember that kindness is free to give, and yet priceless in its return. You don't have to be famous or rich to make a difference. All it takes is an open heart, a willingness to listen, and the courage to be there for someone when they need it most. We are all capable of being a light in someone's darkness, just like Melania did for Ella. The question is, what kind of impact will you make today? Will you be the one to offer hope, to lift someone up, and to show them that they are not alone? If we all choose kindness, we can change the world, one heart at a time.